My name is Anthony and this is my story. My story starts from a difficult place. Before I did this, I worked for a charity and sort of held down a good job, and I've got a small family. But I ran into some bad health, which meant I had to leave my job and rethink what I was doing with my life. Alongside this, I've always had a geeky hobby with technology and cycling, and so the two things kind of came together, and I'm now in the sort of crazy and exciting position of running a company that sells electric bicycles. Obviously, with the physical side, I was physically immobile. It helped for me to get out there and find my freedom again and rehabilitate physically, but also mentally. It was just a very freeing sense to be out on a bike, which helped me a lot, and I really wanted to pass that on to others. I saw others in my situation who might not be able to afford to cycle, so I thought, how do I make this possible for them? Early on, I realised I needed some help with funding and support, because as a sole trader I was having to manage everything myself, from marketing, sales, customers, everything. So I went with those concerns to my mentor from Ixion, who had very specific experience in those areas and was able to direct me quite clearly as to how to build a website and how to start an Instagram page and promote that. What I appreciated from the process was the fact that my mentor had run his own business before quite successfully, and so he'd been through a lot of the challenges that I faced, and so he was able to give me some quite specific advice as to how to overcome them, really. So the experience has been a real roller coaster. There have been lots of highs, but lots of challenges as well along the way. But I've very much enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot from this over the last 1.5 years. What I've really cherished is getting to know people and their stories, some of which are similar to mine. So there's one customer in particular who had critical illness, and I was able to share in his story and understand where he was coming from and see how he benefited from riding an e-bike, and that really chimed with my own personal story as well. And it was an experience which maybe I wouldn't have found if I was working for a big organisation, but the fact that I could relate to people in a personal way is something that really meant a lot to me. So my own personal experience of business is that there are many opportunities to back out, to quit, because there are many challenges, but I think that's just normal life. The one thing that I've found most valuable is support. Support from friends and family, but also professional support, which is what Ixion has actually provided.
So I've gone through the same journey that Anthony and other clients have gone through in trying to come up with an idea of using my experience, and to go from that sort of transition of not being in work to then sort of being the boss and having to come up with your own ideas and to pitch to people. It's like I use that experience to try and help and understand the situation that clients like Anthony are in. We helped him with his business plan to really sort of understand his idea and where he wants to take it, and to sort of find out what his dream was. So what was he looking to get out of it? One in particular was when he was having an issue with a potential client who was being quite demanding, and we looked at it. We analysed what Anthony had done, what was the best practice for him to do, so that when he worked with that or dealt with a similar situation again, he knew what he was going to do and knew how he could help people and move on, and not just solely focus on that one person, about being able to move forward.